Excuse me.
Hello there, stranger. If you've come to hear my stories, you're too late. You can come back tomorrow morning if you're interested.
So what do you do here?
I tell stories to the little children. It's all an old man like me can do. If you come back in the morning, you're more than welcome to hear one.
Tell me about yourself.
What sort of thing do you want to know?
What's it like, you know, being a ghoul?
I won't lie to you. It's difficult. Sometimes I struggle to remember what it was like before. I've been a ghoul for most of my life, you see. That's why I live through my stories. They help me remember how it was before.
How long have you been here?
Oh, I've lived here a long time. In fact, I was one of the first residents. I love talking about the early days of this place, when it was nothing but tents. Why don't you come back for story time? I love to tell stories about those days, and my life before the war.
Have you been here for 200 years?
Oh yes, and I'm quite proud of it. I'm the only living resident of the original camp setup outside the vault over 200 years ago.
That's a long time.
Oh, not at all. The years flew by. I was already an old man when I got here. What was another lifetime or two on top of that? Besides, I had to stay because, well, I don't really like to talk about it.
It's all right. You can tell me.
I had a place in the vault, but my son and grandson didn't. We all came here on the day of the war, but they weren't allowed in. I gave up my place so they could be safe. I never really thought I'd live long enough to see it open, but then the radiation got to me and made me live forever. 20 years passed and the vault never opened, but I couldn't bring myself to leave. This place is home for me now. Now I'm an old man who lives in his stories. It's not the retirement I wanted, but I've made peace with it, and I'm happy.
I'm interested in the history of this place.
Well, you've come to the right person. Longbottom might think his museum is the definitive town history, but I actually lived it.
Tell me more about this town of yours.
When I first arrived, it was just a single tent. A lot's changed since then. A lot of building, digging, and failed attempts to get inside the vault.
Tell me more about this vault.
Vault Tech advertised that all the vaults would open after 20 years. A lot of people came here expecting shelter. They thought they could wait out the 20-year closure and then they'd be safe. That the vault would let them in. The thing is, the vault never opened. I'm not sure if it ever will after all this time.
Who built this place, originally? Has it been here long?
That depends what part of the town you're talking about. They finished construction on the vault in 2075 or 6? Early 7 at the latest. The first tent was set up on the day of the bombs by a man named George Willis. You'll hear a lot of people around here talk about him like he was some kind of god or a king. Me? I never liked the man. I found him arrogant, especially once he proclaimed himself mayor of his little tent village.
What do you know about him?
Like I said, he was arrogant. He arrived on the morning of the bombs. I arrived in the afternoon. But by that time, he'd already proclaimed himself leader of the refugees there. He pitched that tent, and the rest is history.
What happened to him?
The same thing that happened to everyone else. He died. He was an old man when it happened. Older than I was when I first arrived, which is saying something. He wanted to be buried at sea, so we put his body in the water outside. Just as well, I think. Stopped his grave becoming a pilgrimage site for the church weirdos that came later.
Tell me more.
After George died, his daughter Maggie took over as town mayor for a while. I'm the only one who remembers her now. Out of respect for her and her family, I vow to never speak of what became of her. They deserve that privacy.
That was all I had.
Got any other questions for me?
That was all I had.
Is there anything else you want?
I don't need anything.
That's all right. It was nice talking to you.
Fire guns from someone who knows how to use them. Me.